How big is Capitalmind?
We're about 1,800 crores, nearly 1,800. Today we should be closer to that.
What are the common regrets have you seen?
It's usually the chasing of the financial goals that screws your happiness in terms of understanding what is important.
Do you feel the FIRE movement is overrated?
You have to be independent by the time you're 40. Otherwise, you're a waste.
Anyone I talk to, they want that money by 40. The 40 is a very clear number. Why do you think so? That number is
It's
there?
honestly very strange because I'm 50 and I don't care.
When should one buy house?
Look, if you're looking financially, don't ever buy a house.
What should be that FIRE number?
So roughly speaking, if you're spending 10 lakhs a year,
If there's a veteran in the Indian fintech space, it has to be Deepak Shenoy. He was a fintech entrepreneur before people used the word fintech. Today, we ask this entrepreneur, author, and personal finance guru about his own journey and how we can all be money-wise.
Most people say that you should start saving early. And I know you have a counter view. Is that like, what's your view basically? Forget what I said.
yeah. So, see, when I was younger, I didn't have any money. So there was no point of even trying. So I spent all my money.
What was your first job and what was the salary like?
So the first job was a company called BFL Software, which is now, I think, Emphasis. My salary was like 4,500 per month or something. And
This is 96.
96.
And was that good, bad? Like,
it was okay. I wasn't saving anything and I was staying in my parents' place.
and still weren't
So I wasn't saving anything. So putting 5,000 rupees a month, it's not meaningful for most people in a relative bracket
Wouldn't that
today.
be meaningful probably 20 years around the line?
So 5,000 then is 40,000 now. 40,000 is not magnificent now, right? It is good for an entry level person. Today, if you have lived 20 years of experience, you're not going to get 40,000 a month. You're going to get much significantly higher than that, right? So therefore, your ability to save today will be easily 1 lakh a month if you have 20 years of experience. In 2002, you could get a 5-star hotel room for 5,000 rupees in Goa per night.
Oh, okay. What would be today?
Today, in all meals included would be 35,000, 30,000 rupees per. It's not meaningfully changed from then. The fact that if I told you don't do that hotel room, save that 5,000 rupees, and you saved it for 20 years, it became 30,000 today. And yes, it will still buy you that one hotel room. But you lost the meaning of that of living in that 5-star hotel room when you were younger, which you can't get back. I can stop spending like this and I'm fine. For some people, it's a problem. So those people, yes, you should save. In fact, you should have, your EPF and all that are forced savings. So that is worthwhile for those kind of people. There, I don't even care about whether you invest in equity or debt. Doesn't matter. Just save before you spend.
So can you give us a brief background or when you were born, how was your childhood like? What did your parents do?
Yeah, so I come from a family of bankers. My father was a banker and a public sector bank. But we never talked money at home. Not meaningful. No, never, almost. Because I think to dad that was work. He would make me read the newspaper to just understand what stocks were trading at what prices. And he would ask me to go through the list and I would find it in the newspaper. I had no idea what that meant. But there would be some 5 numbers and I tell him all the 5 numbers. And he'd be like, okay.
Got it. And what was your education in like?
So I did eventually an engineering degree. So I got into NIT Surathkal.
When did you make this transition from IT to finance?
So since 2007, my journey has almost entirely been finance. And before that, it's almost entirely been tech.
So you started Capitalmind as a company in 2014
14 in Bangalore.
as a PMS.
We started as a research company and 2017 we launched the PMS.
Understood. And how big is Capitalmind?
We're about 1,800 crores, nearly 1,800. Today we should be closer to that. 1,000 odd clients. So we're about, we're about 1.8 average per client. We also have an AIF which we've launched. Again, end of the month, we will have more customers there because it's just been launched.
Got it.
And we will have an entity in Gift City also later this year. So we're doing all of this. And then we applied to become a mutual fund. So if that happens, hopefully things will change as well.
You have about 1,000 investors, you said. So you interacted with a lot of these people. Is there any interesting trait you observed, interesting personality you observed, how they manage money? And
one thing I've realized is that the happiest people are people who don't worry about their money too much and look at it as more a companion along the way rather than the objective. So people who come to you and say, I want to build a corpus of 10 crores or 100 crores, will generally be more disappointed than a person who comes and says, I don't know what's happening with my money, somebody fix it for me. I find that the happiness quotient in those people are much higher, and they don't they bother a lot less. The person who's more oriented towards this will be like, hey, wait, that mutual fund has done better this 1 year versus your fund versus somebody else's fund. So then they feel like they keep needing to take action.
Do you feel the FIRE movement is overrated?
I think the FI is fine because you can always be financially independent. But I don't know about this retire early business. People don't think it through often because they think retirement is about not working.
Anyone I talk to, they want that money by 40. And the 40 is a very clear number. Why do you think so? That number is
It's
there?
honestly very strange because I'm 50 and I don't care. The important point here is people have these goals and it's a good thing to have because money is a great motivator. So you can drive yourself towards it. You find very meaningful thing. But the numbers are ephemeral. You should rather focus on what you want to do, the things that you want to do when you have money. You want to go paragliding and you don't go paragliding because it's costly, it's XYZ. There's a scuba diving course that you don't take because you want to make this money. That is stupid because life is about experiences. You're not going to take it away when you go. And this retire early business, when you have kids, your life is built around those school timings of the kids only. So you're not retiring in any meaningful sense. You're just once in a while traveling to some Mysore and coming back. Now, if you make it an obsession, then you have a problem because then you can lead to depression and say, I didn't get there when I was 40. I have no meaning in my life. Or if you get there, then it's even worse because now you reach there and there's still no meaning in your life. Anything that you make a religion is a bad thing because now you have to strictly follow those rules, right? You have to be independent by the time you're 40. Otherwise, you're a waste. Therefore, you have to pray to the gods of fire at some level. And you have to listen to the rules of fire. So
you have to fast one day so that you can save by not eating food, probably.
Fire also has all these adjectives that are added to the fire. Right?
Is it?
Spartan life and you're still fire. Elegant life, wala fire, wala thing. So now they have, because every religion has to have castes and subcastes and systems, right? It's also a requirement-based thing. Saying, boss, you're telling me 4 crores, I can't earn 4 crores. Wait, I have fire for you at 2 crores. Just wear less clothes.
Got it.
That way. Wash your clothes every day and rewear them. You're fine. I think fire, because it's a religion, that part of it I don't like. The religious impact of it. That you'll do X and Y and Z. But otherwise, I think money is a great motivator.
What should be that FIRE number?
This is a good question. In general, 30 times your annual expenses before your age of 50 should take you all the way till the age of 90.
One-time expenses like child education and
That
that
alag
is separate.
alag se. Yeah, that all alag se.
Everything else taken care? No.
Taken care of. So 30 times your annual expenses should last you with a reasonable allocation, 7-8% blended yield on the money. So roughly speaking, if you're spending 10 lakhs a year, 3 crores is enough. Now, if you earn 8% on 3 crores, it's 24 lakhs, right? But you're spending only 10. But the reason that I take the 10 is it inflates. It goes up, 10 goes up to 10.5 and 11 and all that stuff, based on 5% inflation. So if you take 6% inflation, you'll become 40x.
Got it.
So I do 30x in general. That's just a thumb rule. I wrote this in my book as well. Because when you do the calculations, roughly those numbers kind of work.
So you mentioned that from your first salary you hardly saved. So when did you get serious about money and when did you start saving?
The first time I actually started to save money would have been 2005. Before that, it was just dabbling into stocks a little bit, into mutual funds, maybe 1 or 2. Very small amounts, mostly because I didn't have any money.
When did you get married?
2005. Okay. 2005 or 2006 is when we were kind of driving on our trip to Goa. We kind of made this massive plan that says, we're going to buy a house, how much is the down payment, how many years do I have to save to get to the down payment, what is the loan amount that we need. So we wanted to keep the loan amount small. We wanted to buy a house to live in. Very clearly, houses were never an investment thought process. It was more like, I'm going to have to spend this money and forget about it. When we came to Bangalore, we said we'll try out a bunch of different houses before we decide which place we want to buy in. Took us 10 years before we figured out this is what we want to do. This is the size of the house we want, and we ended up buying a much bigger house than we originally planned. Originally, we would have planned a 1,400, 1,500 kind of square feet house. Now we bought a multiple of that because we wanted a bigger house. And so I waited till I could afford it
So when did you finally buy it?
last year.
Oh, when should one buy house?
So it's an emotional decision. Don't think of it as a financial decision. So you have to buy it when your emotions allow you to without getting bankrupt. Many people do that. They borrow for the down payment also, then they'll borrow from the loan also. Now they're paying the down payment separately in some other thing, and they're paying some loan in some other thing. And then they stretch because they don't have any money left, and it is completely ridiculous that you should destroy your life for it.
There is one view that you should buy house as later as possible. If you have money, then invest in equities and probably get the upside.
Look, if you're looking financially, don't ever buy a house. I can always make that argument. Why would you look at it financially? It's like buying a car. You can always travel on Uber or on bus or on auto. Why should you buy a car now? Buy a Porsche, save and put it into equity. But today, I want to go out on a Saturday when it's raining, no Uber will come. And I want to drive on a highway to Mysore or to Kolar and enjoy the drive. I'm not going to get Uber to do that, right? So because I value that, I buy a car. I have multiple cars. So, and if you have kids, you will not ever look at an Uber because your kids are small. They need to go to the doctor now. You can't like Uber fellow calling and cancelling and Uber fellow calling and cancelling. You can't deal with that shit. So the peace of mind that you're paying for when you buy a car, you understand this natively, right? With house, people have these problems. Oh, you should buy a house, it'll appreciate. Who cares if it'll appreciate? Buy a house because you want all these soft things, right? You want to live in a house which you feel that you own. You enjoy the house.
What cars do you have?
So I have a Slavia, which is now recently, and an XUV, a Mahindra XUV 700 is what they call it or something.
How's your allocation? If I leave aside Capitalmind,
Mostly debt and arbitrage funds and all that. Some small funds which I bought for comparison. So for instance, a Parag Parekh so just to see how they've done. A UTI momentum fund, put some money, small amounts, just
but
to see
nothing
how.
meaningful.
Oh yeah, most of the meaningful money is in debt. So because I need it for my son's education and all that, and our emergency funds.
But your personal wealth in Capitalmind PMS, whatever is there.
Yes.
That is Capitalmind equity focus or debt?
Yeah, mostly equity focused. We have a debt portfolio also, but I have moved almost all my money to equity.
So how much is that debt and how much is that equity? In terms?
So maybe now it's 75, 25, 85, 15. Between that depends on when the...
What is more?
Equity.
Equity is more.
Yeah.
Where do you keep emergency fund?
It's either in arbitrage or in a short-term debt fund like a PSU debt or a short-term debt.
But that is not immediately liquidable, right?
It is. It takes 1 day or 2 days.
How? It takes 2 days.
But I don't think there's ever a need that unless I'm kidnapped and somebody has to pay ransom, I don't think that kind of emergency is a problem. If there are medical emergencies, you take medical, insurance for that. And even if not, you can pay by a credit card. There's enough, for that. So I don't have to worry. 1-2 days is fine.
Advice for someone who has started getting serious about money and probably in their 30s, probably married.
Typically, try to get the saving part of your system out as soon as you get your salary. Like your EMI goes at the same time, your SIP should also go off. And then spend the rest. But I think the other important point is save little. It doesn't matter. All you do is increase your savings every year. So I wrote this about in the book. Take two people. One is investing 8% a year. One is investing at 8% per year. One is investing at 12% per year. You would think the 12% guy would always have more money. But the first person increases his SIP by 10% per year. 100 becomes 110, becomes 121 and so on. Over a period of 15 years, person A has more absolute money. If you ask person B, where did the incremental money go? He won't be able to answer. It's like, I spent it. When your savings reach 3x your annual income, then start worrying about returns.
That's a good formula. I've never heard of it.
So if you're making 50 lakhs, you should be having 1.5 crores in savings, after which incremental savings, you should try to find the highest return instrument.
Got it.
Till then, don't bother. Till then, even a PPF is fine. You don't have to choose the best mutual fund. You don't have to choose a PMS or anything like that.
Just Nifty
just
50 is
save.
fine.
It's fine. Anything is fine. Even a mutual fund is fine. If it underperforms the Nifty 50, that's also fine. And one of the reasons why I don't think you'd focus on this firewire thing is like basically you should have money to have fun. If you keep thinking of this fire kind of equation, then you'll save everything you have, not have fun. And then wait till 40 to have fun. It's like, my mom used to tell me I was trying to not eat sweet stuff because I didn't want to put on weight. And she said, if you don't do this, eat it right now, then you'll get diabetes and then you'll never be able to eat it.
Is there any spend that you regret?
Once we booked a place in Mangalore and it was really hot in Mangalore. So it had nothing to do with the place, the hotel that we'd booked. But the fact that Mangalore was so hot, we just came back. But, the drive was fun. So do I regret that spend? No, because I had fun even when I was doing it. So
No, I think if you don't remember any such spend, then you probably don't regret it.
yeah.
Regret that much that it would.
Do you have any spends you regret?
Not really. Like if I can't think.
Exactly, that's my point.
What are the common regrets have you seen?
Oh yeah. Mostly people regret not investing in the market after COVID or something like that.
Okay.
So, after 2008, I should have put all my money in the market.
But nobody knew at that time.
Nobody knew at that time, right?
It would not go even further.
Correct.
50%.
So what if it's fallen 80%? Maybe it will fall another 10%. A market that falls 90% is first a market that falls 80% and then falls another 50%. But these are micro regrets, I think. The real regrets come from, personal emotions. I didn't spend enough time with my parents. I didn't spend enough time with my kids. I was not available. That kind of regret is more meaningful, but it's not financial. It's usually the chasing of the financial goals that screws your happiness in terms of understanding what is important. Money doesn't buy happiness in that sense. So
Thank you for watching and supporting our channel. If you like the stories we tell, here's your chance to be a part of it. If you or anybody you know has an interesting financial journey to share, then please fill the form in the pinned comment below and we'll get in touch with you.